Hey, my name is Nate, and you are all watching local band Smokeout Canada. I am stoked to be here with all of you today. My guest today is AJ Howse, drummer of With Conviction, also photographer for Pure Evil. They got some merch as well that you should definitely go check out. If you guys have tuned in before, you know With Conviction. We've played them a bunch on here. Hell, we might play a little bit of them pretty soon here again, too. But Pure Evil is his photography business as well as his podcast that he now runs. It's called An Hour at the House. He has 5 episodes up. Wicked podcast. Stoked to see him doing this. It's awesome just having him going through doing everything he can. He also sells shirts. So if you like what you see, you like what you hear, go support him. And also go support out our homies at With Conviction, the band that he drums for. He also filled in for No Hope for the Lost for Loud as Hell 2021 if you had the pleasure of watching us that weekend. But yeah, tune in to the With Conviction stream every Thursday as well. Go and get some love from him. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? There we go.
How's it going?
It's going fucking great now we got you on the fucking show. Oh.
Dropping my mic.
Oh, that's okay. You know, the guitar stands are great for guitars. For mics, they're a little, you know.
Yeah, I'm in my jam space.
The ingenuity, guys. Let's appreciate that right now. The ingenuity of AJ right now, using a guitar stand to hold his microphone. Oh, and
how's it going?
It's going fantastic. I'm stoked to have you on. I'm stoked to have things going. For everyone who doesn't know, and no one here but you and I would know, AJ had to call me about 20 minutes before the end of the countdown and be like, hey, help. And we got Discord running and it was great. I'm stoked. How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. Can you hear me good? See everything good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
You fucking know it, bud. You know it. So for anyone here who doesn't know, even though I gave you a bit of an introduction, feel free to tell the wonderful people watching who you are, what you do, and all the cool things that you're about.
I feel like I'm doing a podcast, but it's not me doing it this time.
Right? It's the other way around. Oh.
The other way around. I'm AJ, and I play drums in With Conviction, and I also do a little bit of backing vocals now. And I also have my own brand, a Pure Evil. I'm repping my shirt today, and yeah, I don't have my hat on like I normally do, but figured, hey, save the hat wearing for Nate.
And that's true. Describe like a Pure Evil. That's a lot of things I've noticed now. Like just looking at the page, like I knew the shirts, and then there's the photography, and now there's the podcast. Like tell us all about like how a Pure Evil started, I guess, because I'm very interested in that. Like just how you've started doing that, what sprouted it, and now how you've evolved it from there. Yeah,
so there's a few different ways to come about it, I guess. Like when I was dating Jamie, she kind of got me into the whole like helping me get outside of what I want to be doing. So like I wanted to do clothes and merchandise for the longest time, and I wanted to start taking pictures, and it just so happened that she had a camera. And, you know, we started investing in some stuff like a Cricut machine for vinyl printing. And then I had eventually invested in getting like a heat press. It's funny to think back because this was just literally a year ago. And my shirts were all being handmade. And now I work with a third party and I don't have to do the middleman work. I just have it made. I can make way better apparel. And not that that wasn't good at all, but it's just heat press for vinyl printing compared to digital printing, like direct to garment, is just like, even embroidery for the hats, like it's just such a game changer. And anyways, I'm getting kind of off topic here, but yeah, I didn't want to stay on just one thing, you know, like it's gonna sound funny, but even with like the Paul brothers, like take them or leave them, you know, I kind of sit in the middle with them, but like they are so well at branding themselves, and they don't just do one thing, they do multiple things. And I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to go down that avenue of why the fuck do I have to just do one thing? Why does it have to just be photography or videography or drumming, you know? Like, why can't I do it all? And yeah, you know, Jamie and even my bandmates and my family and my close friends have all pushed me to be like, you should just do it. You should just get on that train if you want to do it and just go with it. And it's been encouraging, man. It's really helped me a lot with my mental health and everything else in between. And people seem to like it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Hell yeah, no, as you should. It's really cool seeing you just kind of dive into things, because I remember when I first met you and we started interacting and you were helping No Hope, doing some stuff up, like, you have this energy about you where it's like, man, I have this feeling if someone, he wants to do something, he's going to fucking do it, and he's going to do it with a fucking smile at the same time, regardless of, like, the situation at hand. And then not too long after that, being like, all right, so he's releasing shirts. Oh, now he's doing photography. But now he's doing a fucking podcast. The machine does not stop. And like you said, it's only been like a year where you've actually been going hard at it and like really doing this. I have to quickly do this just because I found a nice pause. Hey, KB614, thank you for following. All new friends get. That's a nice little, yeah. I love that. Yeah, I love it. It's a good time. But it's amazing that you really, oh geez, now, oh, never mind. This one we're not. Unless it's a different one. Oh shit. Okay, one of those two most recent follows, you get one. The other one, you're a spammer. We don't appreciate spam. No. But counted among coal. Oh shit, dude, welcome. Dude, okay, love guys, thank you. Anyone else who follows, I will try to find times to shout you out as we can, but I will also try to not interrupt the interview as we go. But if you guys have questions, please throw them in the chat as well, and I'll get to them. The podcast, I got to ask, how did you come to that? Like, what spouted the original idea behind that?
The podcast. Yeah, that was super last minute. Yeah, I like, so at the end of 2022, I was like really diving deep into podcasting and that. Like I started listening to a little bit of Joe Rogan, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, and a few others. And yeah, the thing is, like, I love the guests that Joe Rogan brings on. I'm not a huge guy into talking about politics ever, so that was one thing I wanted to avoid with mine. I was like, I want to dig deep into talking to people and getting to know them and their experiences and share their stories, but at the same time talk about random things. It doesn't have to be situated. Like, I know we joked about it I have a new podcast coming out this week, but on my episode last week, we joked about it with bringing out a notepad and that. I was like, at the beginning, I rehearsed questions in my head, but it's all on the spot.
Yeah, same here. I've, between this, the Concrete Wasteland, when I ran that podcast and tried doing that, I think we got like 70 episodes in. And any other kind of thing like this, like maybe I'll do a little prep just to better understand the project. But I told this to Donna G, who I had on a while back, and it led to a nice little discovery moment for myself as an interviewer, that I prefer to be off the cuff. I want it to be more natural. I want it to feel like we're just here hanging, jiving, like even though we're not in the same room, we're just hanging out, chatting, learning a bit about each other. Pardon me. Trying to promote what you're up to, what you're doing, but in a genuine way where we're really just letting you be you. And if people connect with it, fuck yeah. And also seeing if there's advice there that can be had. Because the last thing I want to do is find something on like Wikipedia or on your Facebook page or whatever, and hyper fixate on that and be like, well, I see that you say you don't want to take in their political opinions, but here you are saying Joe Rogan's right, everyone. It's like, no, I don't want that. And with Donna, what was really cool about that is due to that, I didn't know going in that she was a former cast member of Degrassi. So when that ended up coming up, it led to a lot of cool, just genuine conversation and questioning about it instead of finding out that fact beforehand and being like, oh, yes, what can I learn about the entertainment industry from someone who worked in this? It's like, I'm not about that. I prefer it being far more natural. And I like that you go about that, too. And that, like you said, you try to steer away from the political aspects of it. Sometimes it's bound to seep in here and there. But like on the case of Joe Rogan, when I stopped watching or listening to him was when that became the crux of it. When, like, not just that it was mainly political commentators, but that through that, he started just saying things without knowing it more and more. When he has guests that aren't in that fucking field and aren't in like the medical field, I feel like he actually can have some genuine, wicked conversations. When he brings comedians on, fuck, Joey, like Garcia, I think has been on there multitudes of times, and he was fucking hilarious. Hell, I listened to the Miley Cyrus one that came out 2 years ago just because that's a genuinely interesting conversation to check out. And so there are things that can be taken from it, and knowing what your lane is, I guess, for what you want to focus on in your podcast, that's really helpful because it allows you to sift through the bullshit and just get to what you actually want to focus on.
Totally. And like on that note, like I actually started listening to him for the MMA aspect. It just so happens that like I kind of knew he had other guests on there, but I never really like there's some I just like straight up don't even dive into, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to hear what this person has to say. And it's funny. I've talked to my parents about it and I'm like, I don't agree with everything that Joe Rogan says. Some things I do, some things I don't. I just like to hear his perspective on things and other people's perspectives on things. And then I'm a kind of guy that takes tidbits from everybody that I meet and that talks to me, like as long as I get to know them. But even you, like I've taken tidbits of information you've given me and I've just like implied it into my life, like all these things. And it's cool, man. Like there's so much you can learn from people and so much you can learn from what you're being told as long as you're paying attention. And man, all you got to give somebody is like a little bit of your time and it could go a real long ways. And I know people have said that they appreciate that about me, but I'm just saying like for anybody, like anybody can do it. It's not hard.
100%. It's like I was talking to Sabian because he was showing us like some stuff that you guys were working on from recording not too long ago. And it was funny. The first thing out of his mouth was, yeah, Nate, I'm sorry. It's just one overhead. I know. And I'm just like, one of these days I'm just going to go through my mic sets, see if I have a spare pair and just be like, here, go. But the fact that you guys can do what you do with what you have is also a huge aspect of that mentality. Even though it's encouraged to do things a certain way, you can also find a way that makes it work without those necessities and those materials. So
totally.
I really love that. We're not going to dive into the subject that it pertains to, but I think this is a really good thing to, I guess, touch on when it comes to like stresses and how you deal with it. Because everyone in your band had a rough fucking fall. We're not going to dive into why. That's already been well discussed. But for you guys as bandmates, like you also had a lot of stuff that you had to deal and you all had to process it in your way. Not so much like the event, but how the backlash was coming at you. Some of you guys were more used to it. Some of you guys were newer to it. But for you, like, what was it like getting through that and just making sure that your mentality wasn't completely destroyed because of it? Because a lot of people, regardless of if it's legitimate or not, that feeling of hopelessness will set in the moment something bad happens and it affects what you're doing. And some people will self-implode, like go down a mental spiral. Others will recognize that and find ways to pull themselves out. And you're one of those guys where even during that, you had a fucking smile on when like it was appropriate. Like when everyone had to be serious, you were all serious. But like outside of the situation in your day-to-day life, when you and I had the chance to chat, you always seemed like you were in good spirits, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'm wondering what that was like for you and how you managed to keep yourself in that kind of that place.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm sorry. It's something that whether everyone likes to admit it or not, whether it's in music or in life, you're going to get hit with something that hits that hard. It could be an untimely death in the family. It could be band drama that leads to like implosion. But it's something that a lot of people don't want to really, I guess, address. But it's that idea of like, as long as it's talked about, it's not unknown to us. It's not foreign to us now and how we can possibly react to it. And yes, Lizzie, yes, more music after we're done the interview.
Man, to be honest, I was like down in the dumps for a very long time. I went through a recent breakup around that time, and that news just did not help at all. Like the whole story situation and how we dealt with it. Well, like I really believe that we dealt with it in the best way we could, and I've gotten so much closer to these guys through this, and we kind of like had a band meeting recently about everything, and it's just nice to see that we still have goals that align, and that we're still like it. Like I said, it kind of goes back to just being like a family, you know. And wow, I think everyone's gonna have their different opinions on things, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. It crushed me because it crushed my dreams, man. Like, that's all I want to do is just go on the road and play shows. And regardless of how you feel about me or someone in my band or my band in general, like, that tore me and them apart in different ways, like outside of like being a family, you know what I mean? Like, that was like, wow, you know, these hateful voices caused shows to be canceled. These hateful voices caused things to be distressed and even more stressed in our lives. Distress is the wrong word. Stressed in our lives, and whether that was implied or not, wow, it was very, very hard to deal with. And I had to really take a long look in the mirror and find out what I'm here for. And I went on a whole rant about it in our meeting, and I was like, look, I've learned that in past relationships with friends or like dating people, I'm going to get kind of on a personal note here, but I was like, I'm actually gonna. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I'm for once gonna like stand and see this one through, because my morals are that of like, if you see the good in someone and you believe that they're trying to do better, like, by all means, I think you should go with that. And people might think that I'm trying to blow smoke up the guy's ass because I've known him for so long and all that, and it's like, yeah, maybe. But maybe if you took 5 minutes out of your day to talk to him and then came up with your, you know, final decision on how you view him and the band and everything else, okay, that's fine. I'm fair with that. And I'm fair with how people are in general with about it. I'm a little like kind of torn still at some parts where it was like, yeah, that was like my dreams, like to go on tour, and we were like breaking even at shows, you know, we were like making some income, and it was just nice to be on the road with these guys, and that's all I ever want to do and continue to do, is just be on the road. I don't care if I make money at this. I don't care what comes out of this. I just want to have good times. I want to connect with people, and I just want to see the world. Like, that's all I'm asking. Like, my Pure Evil stuff is so important to me, but nothing is going to top playing shows. Getting the opportunity to hop on with you guys. This is a little sidetrack, but it'll tie back in. With No Hope at Loud as Hell 2 years ago now. That was huge to me because I've had opportunities in the past where I've done tours and all this stuff, but that festival in particular, I don't know why, it's always kind of stuck out to me, and I never knew anything about it until I went to that one, right? And you know, at the time, when I was with Jamie, she was performing too. So it was like a 2-in-1 thing. It was really nice. It was a nice bonding experience in more ways than one. And just meeting like people like Jeff and, you know, people who knew about my band prior to it, but still were willing to give us a chance because they took the time out of their day to get to know me. And I took time out of my day to get to know them. That resonates with me so much, like so much. And, you know, whether you're on my side or not, like I've backpedaled and said before, like, okay, that's fine. I don't really care. But I'm glad that those people that if they don't like me or do like me, have at least taken the time to hear my side of things and maybe Sabian's side of things. And at that point, I can respect it. But I've learned a lot about like kind of like these fake people that were in between that I was like, I don't know if I want to be like friends with these people. They can't decide, and I don't want to be in that anymore. If you know, if you're not gonna like, if you're on my side, but you're like low key against my band, you're not really on my side. You know what I mean? You're not really in my court. You don't have to love my band or what we do, but you don't. If you're going behind my back in a way, and you're bashing my band, you're not supporting me and my dreams.
If you're
and you're
feeding
not my
the
friend.
noise, you're not doing anything to. And the way this is verbed is going to sound a bit more rough than it is, but it's the truth. You're not adding any positive insight to the actual thing. Like, if you don't like it, that's cool. But if you want to just talk shit in the background and feed the white noise, like, eventually everyone's just going to drown each other out if that's the route they take.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I feel like I've held back on so much of what I've wanted to truly say about that situation. And as soon as you were bringing up kind of the question, I know you didn't want to go back too much into the September incident, but it's part of the
up to where like you guys want to go. I know it's a complex one, and I only want to unravel the onion as far as it's willing to be unraveled. I don't want to have it be like I set you up to say something and like I want to focus on that. It's a very important thing, and it affected you and the band, but you, like you described just now or a few minutes ago, the timing of everything, it really affected you. So it's no I guess it's no surprise that would be something that would hold a lot of weight and hold a lot of subjectivity and things to be discussed. So I'm as open to go as far as you're willing to go in the conversation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. And again, that's no excuse. Part of that is on me. My relationship with that person was, at the ends there, and that's just life. And then this, like, that situation with my band, it's just life. So it's no one's fault. I'm not pointing any fingers at people.
It's just how dominoes fall.
I'm not trying to. Yeah, exactly. And it is what it is, man. I'm just speaking from the heart when I say, like, that was, I focus on my band so much. Like, I did a lot. And I just, I at the end of the day, I want people to know that I'm doing my best to do this for the right reasons, for what we speak and what we stand for and what I believe in and what I stand for, if that makes sense. And I'm really passionate about this because it's what I've been doing for so long. If I didn't believe in this, I would have been gone years ago, because I knew about this. I knew about the whole situation 3 months into the band, and like, it's just one of those things that, like, you got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to see who you're surrounded by and the energy you're getting and the vibes and everything else. And it's always been positive. And I think that's very important. And I think if you're with people that are doing things for the right reasons and not being assholes about it, you're with the right people.
100%.
That's all.
I think that's why I've personally been as drawn to, like, you, Sabian, Ian, like the crew, the main crew, Kyle, Nate, Keelan, like all you guys, because like through you, like, again, meeting you, having you come in, this humble as fuck motherfucker, driving all this shit. And I actually have to say this about you and Max, because you've both made this trip and you've both done this, and the level of gratitude I have for both of you for doing that for myself and the band cannot be stated enough, because quite frankly, without either of you doing that at those points in times, I don't get to do what I ultimately love doing. Sure, I love doing this. I love being the guy behind the board, but those are trumped by 5 minutes on stage. So, but taking the time to not only make the trip, but take the time to learn and take advice and really, like, deconstruct some things. Because I remember when you first came in, you saw the setup and we were all crammed into the small little fucking room. Because I was like, yeah, that's the smart idea. Let's eat up the small place. You didn't complain. You came in, you found out what worked. You worked with the kit. We went over songs. And then I can't remember if you suggested it or if I suggested it or if it was at the same time. It was like, hey, can we, like, take a pause, focus on just the beats. Nate, do you know any of these? Because I'm more visually, like, I just want to see a few parts of it and how it's going. And then just that ebb and flow of being like, no, I just want to learn this so I can do it. Let's figure out the best way that works for this. Working with a click and a backing track and all of our tech issues the day of the show, and just powering through it and being a fucking boss while doing it and being a showman at the same time. That's one thing I love about watching you drum, is just, you love what you love doing. It's not the same, exact same like physical structure, but it's the same vibe I get when like I watch old rev drummers. Like you can tell he's fucking committed to that music. He's committed to what the fuck he's doing. He's loving it. He's not just sitting there being like, oh, can't fuck up, and we're doing a 6/8 into a 4/4. Yeah, no, it's like, no, I'm fucking, fuck yeah. Oh wait, I get to sing. Yeah! It's like that kind of, it's like Jesse from Julia Ruin is the same vibe with me when I watch him drum. Just that stupid smile on his face when he starts getting into his groovy patterns, being like, that's what I love. That's why I love what I love about watching people do this, because nothing against all the virtuosos and all the guys that are like stupid technical without belief. If the music ain't making you move while you're playing it, like it's hard for me to get into it, because if you ain't vibing with it and I'm not getting that kind of visual, like, fuck yeah, you're vibing with it, it's hard for me to vibe with it. And it's so easy. Like, it can be technical as fuck, but the guitarist could be looking at you and be like, oh yeah, no, you know what's coming? Wait for it. Ooh, yeah. And you're just like, okay, like, there's small things you can fucking do. But
that's Keelan to a T.
And your energy is impeccable when it comes to that. As well, another thing, because you and I, we've had our disagreements on the stances of certain figures in, I will say, political science. And not once have we had a debate. It's legitimate. I can say it's a debate, not an argument, that's gone wrong. It's just been, all right, well, why do you have this opinion? Okay, where's your best stuff to back it? All right, I can see where you're coming from. Go from there. We're not known as being like, yeah, well, if you don't believe what I believe, exactly how I believe it, fucking commie.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, that's true. That's something too, because like it's like with the energy, and I try to do that with everybody. I try to keep a level playing field with everybody. I don't try to treat. It's like that. You've probably heard the quote before. You don't treat the janitor any different than the secretary or like the supervisor or the manager. I treat everybody the same, and regardless of your views on things, like I said, it is what it is. And I really appreciate that about you and I. I forgot about that. That's how like non-trivial that shit is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, politics just divide us, and it doesn't have to. We kind of allow it to. We are our own worst enemy, and it's just working through that, being self-aware of your situations around you, you know? And it's as easy as being, it's like lessons you're taught when you're young. Just don't be an asshole.
I think I think that actually is a huge part of it, though. I think a lot of us were taught not proper manners, but proper discourse, proper ways to have conversations, whether it's because we were forced to through things like therapy, guilty, or you were fortunate enough to just be in a healthy household where that was taught to you. I think there are a lot of individuals that come from backgrounds where maybe they didn't have that healthy, constructive type of conversation be around them growing up. So now it's hard to, whether they're on either side of the spectrum, it's hard for them to even hear the other side, or it's harder for them to even communicate, because they can be just as hard to listen to as it can be to communicate with, because they're just loud on both ends.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes no one's ever told them any differently, or my one I'm learning this year is kind of like, pardon my French, I've been swearing a couple times on here. I hope that's all right. This is completely like 18 plus. I'm smoking weed on the side, just trying to find strategic marks, being like, I don't want to cut you off, but I also don't kind of want this hoot. Of course. Free fall. Just don't say any of the slurs that we have no place even having in existence. There's only a few of them. They're unnecessary, but fuck, of course, cunt. I'm okay with those. Exactly. But it just goes back to, I was going to say, screw first impressions. You know, I've learned that some people could be in a bad mood or something is going on that day. So give them another day. Maybe even give them another day on top of that. You know, like people deal with so many things that you don't know what's going on. There's always two sides of a story, blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of that stuff sounds almost kind of cliche, but it's so true. Like, people are just dealing with so much shit. We all have stuff to deal with, some more than others, depending on the day. And yeah, like I said, it's just I've had to learn to like let go of first impressions because I was told that those are super important, but I don't think that's always necessarily the case, you know?
Yeah, grudges as well. Like letting go of those. You don't have to like people. You don't have to be involved in their lives as well. Holding grudges against people is completely... it's counterproductive, and honestly, it is draining as fuck. If you put that much mental energy into holding on to usually the smallest little things that have caused this huge thing to fester. I can go for mutual things, relationships, friendships, bandmates, family members. Sometimes it's easier, like, for lack of a better term, to let go of the situation. Just be like, you know what? This sucks, is what it is. I'm just going to accept that this is how life is throwing that at me and move forward. Like, I've started sending people the Ric Flair woo when he's all bloody because I'm like, you know what? This is just my reaction to life now. Whenever someone throws me a fucking curveball, I'm just going to be, woo! Let's fucking go! Here we go. Nothing's changed. Life is just, you know what? I was expecting a break, but you know, that's just not how it is. Let's just keep on going up this hill. We got this. Fuck it. And sometimes you just got to go that way.
Totally. Actually, if you don't mind, if I have a little question for you, you can be brief with it. You can go long. I don't really care myself, but and if you don't mind answering it, of course.
How the turntables have turned. Just what the shit that did. Now he's the one asking me questions. Now here we go.
Yeah, I had to at least have one for you, but you mentioned it kind of before, and I just want to dive a little bit into it with the No Hope for the Lost. Is that?
It is still a thing. So I have a 2-track EP, which has the 2 newer songs that you know. They're retracked. Their names are Heads or Tails. Heads and Tails. It literally got to a point where I was sitting there trying to figure out ways that I was going to release it. And then I had to deal with a hard drive crash in December, which just made me go, yeah, don't even think about that. Let's get everything back first before we think. And then I got it all back, and then I'm going to re-record some vocal parts that need to be replaced. But aside from that, it's going to get that's going to get released. Just as, regardless of where Ray and I left things off on, I very much do love the music that we made together and worked on together. And it needs to get released in some way, shape, or form. That part of the band needs to move on. And then from there, I have Sabian maybe working on a new logo. And after I move to Calgary and I get things figured out a bit more, I'm going to put a bit more focus into trying to find a new lineup again and get things going. I have some songs in the backlog. I have one that I worked on that, on one hand, I really like. On the other hand, we don't know where I'm going to be in 4 months and what mentality I'm going to be in, being like, yeah, that's the direction we gonna fucking go. But it's not dead. It's not on hiatus. It's kind of just like on the back burner because life has dictated that is the case. I'm fortunate enough with that to be drumming for Caliber now, so that's cool. And for those of you that are tuning in, they haven't announced it yet, so you're all in the know, and you all gotta shh. But after our show last month, I'm the official new drummer. They really like what I bring to the table and just the energy and the vibe. And even though I'm not a thrash drummer by heart, like I can hit the bits, I can have fun, I can learn the shit, and we like spending time and vibing with each other and jamming. So I'll be doing that as well. That doesn't mean I'm not going to not focus on No Hope, but I don't want to rush shit for the sake of feeling rushed. A part of me wants to, just because, like I said, I love the stage, fucking love performing, and it kind of pains me that No Hope's only played 2 shows over the course of 2 years. But again, it is what fucking is. We'll get there when we get there, I guess. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And sometimes maturing is realizing that that is legitimately the case. There is no timeline. Until I'm dead, things are going.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, man, at the end of the day, like, you're doing what you love, and that's all that matters. You're not hurting anyone. You're not doing any, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you're creating something that you love and you're passionate about, that's what it's all about, man.
100%.
Hell yeah.
And then another teaser, just so I'll let everyone know, because getting over an illness, so I didn't get to retrack the vocals for the main songs, but for those of you that follow Cosm, or Sterling of Cosm, the drummer, you may have noticed that he released a My Plague drum cover. And I may or may not finally just re-record the rest of the vocals I needed to re-record, and now I just got to, mix it, film. I guess I got to learn the guitar and relearn the bass so I can film them. But I then film my parts, put a video together, and then that cover will come out, because we were playing that. That was a cover. I was like, no, I want that in. I want that in the fucking set. We're playing some Slipknot. Fuck yeah, it's happening. And man, I can't believe I wanted it out as a full thing, and then Sterling just went, hey, can I just release it? It's not that you're taking all the time in the fucking world. It's that life just ain't giving you the time to get to it right now. Can I just release the drum version without everything else, and then you can do your end after? And be like, yeah, no. Why sit on content? Go. Be free. I can release my version after, and then it's like, y'all got a teaser.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't know about the whole Cosm thing.
Yeah, Sterling actually, because there were a few people at Loud as Hell I spoke to about things before things happened, just because I wanted advice from people I respected who were disconnected from the situation and could have an honest perspective on everything. And by the end of everything, Sterling was also like, regardless of what you have to do, know that I got you. I know you probably got maybe one or two other people probably saying the same, but if you ever need someone to write drums for you and just get them done, just hit me up. And a part of me is like, fuck yeah. The other part of me is like, you're busy as fuck. So like, again, thank you. I'm going to send you stuff, but I'm also not going to expect it to be done in any like quick time, because you are a busy motherfucker. And if there's one thing I've noticed, also being a busy motherfucker, we will say we want to get things done for you as soon as possible. But if it ain't on the main to-do list and it's one of those like, I'm going to get to do that, I'm going to have some fucking fun, do some shit for the homie, let's fucking go. It's probably the thing that's getting done in the most amount of time possible. which sucks. It's just the way life goes, right?
Yeah.
I want to do the fun thing. Oh, I got to do all the other things first. But the fun thing, you'll get to it at some point. I wanted to do it 3 weeks ago. Oh shit, has it been that long already? Okay, no, we have to find time to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know that process too, the bouncing back and forth of being like, all these things I want to do. Where are my clones?
Totally. Yeah. Don't, man, and balancing between like, yeah, thank you so much. Balancing between like a pure evil and with conviction is, I'm getting better at it, but it's always like kind of challenging, because with conviction is very fun but business orientated at the same time. We have a goal, we're all on the same page with things, so it's nice in that regard. And I'm trying to focus on that while still doing a pure evil. That's why I've kind of, in regards to like other podcasts that I follow, they have like episodes done like every 2 or 3 days they got one out, and I'm like, unless I get like somebody to help me, like Joe Rogan's got people who help him clip and edit and do all that fun stuff, like until I get somebody like that, yeah, it's gonna be once a week.
I don't now I don't mean to throw you on the spot, but I do believe you know a podcast engineer who's ran a podcast that ran for about 70 episodes, used to edit the main podcast and distribute it for local bands Smokeout. And I don't know. I think he's been doing a live stream podcast for like a year and a half. I don't know. What's his fucking name? It's escaping me right now. Shit.
Fuck you. Love you, but
no, but it is having those themes are handy. Hey, AJ, what's the name of that bus? Nate.
Dude, I was just literally going to drop it on your live stream here. Be like, yo, man, you got to come up to Edmonton. You can crash at my place now. I have a bed for you. You can crash. You can come hang out with the band. Help us with drum tracking. Help me with the podcast. And be on the podcast. There's so many, not 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s. There's like 4 or 5, 6-in-1s if you want. Let's go. Like,
no, believe me, it can fucking happen. And that's why, despite how stressed I am, like, I know I'm keeping a very calm facade, but there's a few people in my DMs that know the level of anxiety I'm going through right now, figuring out this move. Despite all of that, just possibly balding me a few years earlier than I need to be.
No.
It's not that bad. At some point, I am going to have to, like, get something, but it's just slowly receding. I like how it's like, it's just a small one. It's not like Spencer where it's like, whoop, here's where the mohawk goes, and here's the 2 landing pads. But being in Calgary, once I'm there, it opens up so many things because I can still fucking come here and do shit here and do the sound shit for the Med Hat scene because half of us will live in Calgary anyway. We'll convoy together, bring everything. It'll arguably maybe be a bit more organized. I just won't be able to run home 4 times a show. I'll have to have everything on me, but we'll do it. Calgary, I'm more available there because, you know, it's a larger city, more musicians, more possibility to do stuff, more possibility to have people come in. And now with that too, Edmonton's now only 3 hours away. You know, that's a lot easier than, 5 hours and half that drive is through butt-fuck nowhere because I'm choosing not to take the main roads. Because you're like, how do I save like an hour on this drive? I know, I'll take the 36. You know, that's a boring drive. I don't give a fuck. I'm saving gas.
Yeah. Totally, but it's so dull. You're right. It's a dull drive.
You get to one point where there's like tree. No, once you get to like the Red Deer area, you get the foothills, you're like, oh yeah, trees and shit. But the moment you're in the prairie, or you see the Badlands off in the distance, you're like, that would be cool. We're not going that way, are we? No. The flat place. Why? Why? For 3 provinces, you say? Well, that seems fucking dumb.
From past tours I've done, and then even the most recent tour with Conviction, when we went through Saskatchewan, every time I'm coming back, I'm like, look, there's a lot of parts of Saskatchewan that I like, but the drive through is pretty dull. And everyone can agree and attest to that, I know. But like, gosh, you'd think they'd add like a nice little like road sign that lights up every like 100 kilometers just to keep you somewhat entertained. Something funny.
No, plant a singular tree. Every like 25 to 50 kilometers. Maybe one on each side. That way it can feel like golf, What do we hit? Oh, I think we hit the 150 marker. Yeah. How much longer? Well, it's a 400-kilometer run to the next gas station. So how many movies did you bring?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Save's here. Ooh, hi, buddy boy. Hope you're doing well. I got to ask you now, because we covered a lot of, like, business stuff. And going to your drumming, what brought you to the dance? What made you go, I want to fucking drum?
Ooh. Like from the very start?
Yeah, from the start. The thing that made you want to pick up the sticks.
Literally, wow. I talked about this at Higher Ground today, just before I got here. I literally, I wanted to play hockey growing up, but it was a little expensive for my parents and that. So, like, I had to, that was, like, right before junior high. So it's kind of, like, still learning what I wanted to do. I played basketball in junior high and a year in senior high when I was graduating.
Let's go.
But,
let's go. 1v1 me. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Who's got the height?
Let's go.
Kobe. Yeah, I always like to do those like dribble through the legs, like the invisible ball, and then the fade away. Or that. There you go. Yeah, fade away.
Oh wait, no, you gotta get the slap. Foul, and one.
And you know what, man? Those were some great times on the basketball team and that. But I can specifically remember, and this was like grade 8, going into grade 9. I like just being on my couch upstairs at my parents' place and just like kind of like just tapping the couch and pillows and being like, I kind of like this. And I was like, I think I want to play drums. And I can specifically remember one of the coldest days in January, right at the end of January, and I was in grade 9. And I was 15, and my dad comes home with this. You probably remember the brand, but I thought it was the coolest shit ever. But it was CB drums, entry level drums, right? And just so dinky. But dude, I played so bad, but so much on that entry level kit, like. And that's the part that I always try to remember with my parents. I'm always like, you guys were there when I was crap.
You guys remember like, when I couldn't even count to 4, let alone like 2? What was 2?
Exactly. And I can specifically remember 4 months it took me to get the hang of double pedals. But that was my biggest goal up until Keelan always says I learn drums like karate. Like I'm always like, I learn one thing and I'm like, okay, well, on to the next. And I kind of focus on it a little bit. But when I get like kind of flustered or I'll change it up, but I'll go back to it eventually and just try to master that one thing. And then once I get it, I'm on to the next. But again, my ADHD here is like making me go all over the place. Back to the drum kit, CB kit. My dad got me the kit. And then eventually in May of that year, trying to remember what year that would have been, either 2009 or 2010, yeah, I took some lessons, and it was just so crazy, man. And unfortunately, where I grew up in a small little town that's just more of kind of like a hockey community. Anyways, being in the arts was very hard, and having your own kind of arts thing going on was hard, and being financially able to run it. The music store in town had to close down because it just wasn't. Oof. It wasn't making enough at ends meet, and I only got 1 year of actual lessons, but I was determined. I was like, I'm not giving up. Like, so I just learned at home. I YouTubed a lot of videos. The biggest thing I wanted to do was learn covers. So, and Nathan Begin can attest to this because he's one of the first guys I ever started jamming with, and we would always just play covers. Like I'd be like, you want to play this one, and he would like this song, or he was always willing to learn the songs that I really liked, which I always appreciate the guy for. Shout out to Nathan.
Dude, that dude is too humble and too good at what he does.
Isn't he insane though, dude? When I first met that guy, like no shit, he picks up the guitar and he's just like, he's doing like the Suicide Silence, No Pity for a Coward solo, and I'm like, he's in grade 9 at this time. I'm in grade 12, and I was like, what the hell? This kid is so good. And it was either him or I. He would know the story better. He's got the great memory. I got horrible memory for certain things. But one of us pointed out the Suicide Silence T-shirt we were wearing in the hallway, and that's how we started kind of like talking. And then as soon as I seen him play guitar, I was like, dude, we need to jam. I don't have a band. I don't really have a place yet, but we were able to get a place, and it was called the North Star Jam. And it was just like this outreach school program, and there was a lady there that got to know my story, got to know me, and how passionate I was about music, drums, and everything else in between. And she trusted in me to keep the key and to go in on Sundays after I graduated, to go in on Sundays and open up the jam space, go through. I remember the door code. I don't remember the door code itself, but I remember entering it in to turn off the security thing or whatever, and going into this like literally like a school, and just like the kit was set up. I'd have to like put on the cymbals and the kicks and that, but like the kit was always there, kind of set up in the corner, and Nathan would bring his big old 4x12 cab and his head and his guitar, and we would just jam. And there was a couple other people in between that we would jam with too, but Nathan always stuck around. Nathan was always there, and I formed my first band with Nathan called If I Fall. And that was cool, man. It was very heavy metalcore, and
nice.
I actually didn't play the drums in that band. Nathan knew a few people. This is how we got the band together, because he knew a few people that would be down to be in a band. So it was actually funny because we had, I'm looking at my If I Fall sticker on my laptop now. We had Lane doing clean vocals, a little bit of screams here and there, backups. I would do backups. I played bass guitar. And Tyler Levine played drums, because when he came to audition for drums and he played, I was like, Yeah, you're playing drums. He was just that good. He was so good. I'm willing. I was like, I wanted to be in a band so bad. So I was like, bass guitar, we have one? Because we would get donations in that. Some people, man, they just blow my mind. They just, yeah. It was awesome to have a support group that was willing to see what us kids were wanting to do, you know? Kids being 19, 20, 18. And anyways, so going back on track here. So Tyler played the drums. Ivan was the screamer. And Alex Litwin was the guitar player. And then Nathan was guitar, obviously. And yeah, it was just like so many of us in a band. But like, dude, it was so fun. I can remember just jamming in this North Star area. And, you know, time goes on where things get kind of weird and being in some bands and some people just don't work out and blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad that at the end of the day, I'm on a level playing field with these guys for the most part. That I know of and think of anyways, but it just didn't end up working the way I wanted it to work out. So I ended up leaving the band. They kind of did their thing for a while. I was looking around. I remember posting in the Bo Yag music scene, and I was like, hey, I'm a drummer. I can play bass guitar. I can do vocals. I like screaming. Like, hit me up. I'm willing to do whatever. And man, I cried that night. I cried in my truck at the time going into Sherwood Park, home to where I was living there with my ex-girlfriend back then. And I was crying because I was like, is this the end? Like, I just got in a band. It was about a year and a half in, and then I'm quitting. And yeah, like, what is next for me? And there was a few bands that reached out, and then there was one in particular that reached out to me. And yeah, I went and auditioned, and I rehearsed the crap out of these songs and bombed so many of them. Stand Tall, though. I nailed that one. I nailed Stand Tall, but the rest of the songs from With Conviction at the time, I did not do a good job at. And I remember leaving that audition, and then the next day came, and it was like the day went by, and at like midnight, I was like, nope, I'm not leaving this to hear from them. I reached out to Sabian, and I was like, hey, man, I know I kind of dropped the ball on a couple songs, but I'm willing to, like, keep going if you're willing to, like, let me learn. Because I didn't know. I was not familiar with the Edmonton music scene at all. The only band that I knew of in the Edmonton music scene prior, well, aside from a couple, but like one that I followed in high school was Exits. Like, that was the one band that I knew of prior, like in Tofield. Like, I knew of them, never seen them, just bought their merch, liked their EP that they released in 2012. Like, I was a huge fan. But anyways, like, I didn't know anything about the Yag scene. So yeah, to have him respond and be like, yeah, man, I appreciate you reaching out, you know, doing Sabian stuff. He was like, yeah, man, let's get back together and give it another go. Let's see what you got. We admire and appreciate your efforts for this. And I'll never forget that, man. That really resonated with me because, see, that's something that I can clearly remember because not that other memories weren't important to me. You know, there's some that were that I just simply forget. But that message, I can just specifically remember seeing it and being stoked, man. I went right back into the garage and like played, I can't remember the drum kit I had at the time, another dinky one, but just played the crap out of this EP that they had, the With Conviction EP. Shout out to that EP. That EP, I loved it. I was a fanboy before I even got, the man was a fanboy. If I had the Conor McGregor accent, I would just say the man was a fan. But yeah, like, I just rehearsed it front to back, and then the next jam, went in there and nailed it. I just like, and I could just see the looks on everyone's faces. They were just so much feeling so much better about things, and I was feeling so much better about things. And yeah, man, at that moment, just going forward, been drumming ever since. And I've been able to fill in for some bands like Tama Hills. I did their cross Canada tour. I was in a band called Castles, which was a pop punk band, and then with you, I filled in for a show, and I've been handed out some offers, and I've had to turn some down, and that's just life. But I've been on this road of just seeing what I am able to do with my drumming now. You know, like where I'm at with what we're going to be writing here shortly, well, what we've already got written, but like coming out in the near future, I am so stoked to show everybody like how much I've grown as a drummer. Cause I'm really pushing myself. If Sabe was in here and he was able to like answer that, he'd be like, yeah, like he said, there's like parts where he was like, you're really pushing yourself here, hey? And I can be really hard on myself sometimes. Like, I'm determined to get something, so I won't stop. I don't stop. And, you know, a con of that is just being kind of like hard on yourself when you don't get it initially, or the second time, or the third time, or maybe even the fourth. But I'm determined to make this the best drums you've ever heard from me and With Conviction in general, and just something so solid, something so real. You know, for a long time we've done programmed drums, which was never an issue with me because we would still do like the run through, and he would kind of get close to what I was doing anyways. But
yeah,
this is going to go backpedal to like bringing you in to having you help set us up. And you know, if you got to crash at my place for the night or 2 or 3, whatever, man, you're welcome.
We'll do it. We got to figure out a way to make that happen, because I am down to make sure that we get some pristine AJ Howse drums recorded in full stereo spectrum.
Do you have that?
And
I am so glad it comes through on my end too, because when Sabian does it on the live stream, we don't get to hear it, and I'm like, oh, I love those little sound bites when I'm watching it through.
I have it routed a particular way, and it works perfectly. And speaking of Sabe, you really got something to prove, hey? Sabian, paraphrasing.
Is he on there? Is he listening?
That's his response to you being like, and if Sabian was here, like, I'm sure he'd say something. He's like, yes. He's like, his response in quotations, you really got something to prove, hey?
Oh yeah, straight up. I'm determined to, like I said, get back in there and just create the best product that we can create. And that's with everything. We're doing it as a whole, you know, like the guitars are stepped up. The vocals are going to be stepped up. We're pushing each other in spots that we haven't done before. And, you know, it's just, I am so stoked on this product. Like, an album that just like flows, you know what I mean? Like, Burnout Bright is cool because I think it's cool because it's kind of unique. It's got like so many different aspects about each song that you're like, it doesn't really have that kind of like regular album flow, you know what I mean? Which is unique to itself. But this new one, man.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
see, what's cool too, because what's nice is I can say that I can't remember if I got a definitive yes or a definitive no. All I can definitively say is I have at least asked Sabian about being doing a little, hey, you can get a little Nate feature in there. You want double Nate squared, Nate power?
Ooh.
No, we got this. Ooh. And if that happens, ooh. But that's for everyone to find out, including myself, because I know we've had the conversation, but the past 2 months, like post you guys coming down and doing that live stream show, which thank you again. That was a fuck ton of fun. I wish we had more time, but like that day. But since then, everything's just been going at Mach like 50, because it was right like the day before you guys showed up where I got my notice, and I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get through this weekend, and then we're going to figure everything out. And then after that, I was like, oh, by the way, Caliber has a show. Week after that, Fall of Verse here. Week after that, you got to go for your lighting training in Calgary. And then right after that, you got Cancer Bats in town. So have a fun month figuring that out, and trying to make any cognitive pathways that'll actually stick and remain there, and, you know, have fun. And I've just been sitting here kind of going by this, like, the seat of my, like, I don't know, just kind of existing, being like, I'll figure it out. We're doing things.
Totally.
Yeah. And then I remember in the With Conviction Discord once in a while, I'll be like, to whoever's talking sometimes, if someone tries to go into like a deep conversation on something, I'll be like, hey guys, I'm not going to lie. This right here, going a little slow right now. Yeah, the CPU has slowed down, not enough RAM. You know, I need to do like an optimization, maybe a hard drive cleanup, guys. Like, just 1 second here. We got to reboot. But I'm stoked with everything you guys got going on. Both the band, you with the Pure Evil, everyone being in good spirits. It's always fun jumping in the Discord, having fun with Sabe and Ian. Little Nate too, although now that he's got real life job, his sleep schedule has changed, so I don't have my Apex buddy at 1 a.m. anymore. But that's okay.
Aw.
That's okay. We'll find more time. I miss Nate Squared time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not realize how fucking good he and Keelan were on guitar until he and I were just sitting in chats together for a while. Because, you know, listening to With Conviction, like, the guitar works good, but it's all like immaculately intricate to a point where you're like, there are multiple weeks of practice that are put in before even attempting this song. It's like, no, they just practice. They got their tempos right. They're like good chuggy riffs, some melodic stuff. Some of the leads are cool. And then, like you said, Nate just chilling there. Oh, what? Dude, bro, what are you even talking about, man? Like, why don't you just like play that song? Learn that. Yeah. Oh wait, you like Kill Switch? Dude, AJ would fucking love you right now.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. Man, honestly, it's so funny you bring that up because we were covering we just randomly started playing I hit in the drums and you'll know what I say, The Sound of Truth by Asley Dying.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes right into the song. And he's like, we get into the first verse and he's playing halfway through and he's like, I see him stop. He's like, oh man, I don't remember. I'm like, you got this, dude. You got this. And it clicked in him. And he was like, then he started playing again. And guess what? He had it. I was like, that's all you need, man. I know sometimes you're going to have that doubt about stuff, but you got this, dude. You are freaking talented. Like everyone in With Conviction is, but just at that moment, just to see him like kind of pause, and I'm just still playing. I'm like, dude, you got this. You got this.
I ain't stopping. Why are you stopping?
It was awesome, man. And then he picked up where I was, and he was able to just like keep playing, and he kind of figured it out. There's one or two, other parts he was kind of like a little hesitant on, but he got it. He was able to play through it, and I know it's been forever since we've even attempted to play that song, but yeah, it was cool to see that little trigger in people's heads where they might have a moment of doubt, but if you can just like tell somebody something, just a little bit of encouragement, they just like, it'll change somebody's whole entire day, perhaps, maybe the moment, but like their day, they'll feel a lot better about things. And I love that shit, man, because people do that for me. Like, people do that for me. I don't get to say it enough. So I try to do that for people, too, because it's like, you guys lift me up. I want to try and lift you up. Let's do this as a team. So,
hell yeah. I think that's why I think there are several reasons throughout this entire conversation why I think you and I vibe very well, why I vibe really well with all the guys in With Conviction, and why you guys vibe really well with each other. Just, it's awesome seeing that energy go on, that positivity go on, and just that desire to want to just do what you do. It's just fucking cool. That's all I can really say about that. It's cool having that energy and that drive and seeing people that are like passionate about what they love doing and making it happen. Before I go on to the end here, I may or may not have briefly perused an old chat that we had way back in the day. I got to see if I can get this playing some audio for me.
An old chat between you and me?
Yeah, an old pre-band chat when we were prepping for something for the old Loudest Now Festival.
Stupid.
Oh no, it's just me. I'm trying to see why it won't have them play, because I want to share it with you. But for me to do that, I needed to kind of play its audio properly. So we're just gonna pull up the old thingamabob here quickly. It's not even. It's a drum video. It's a big old drum video of you back. You know what? Why does life hate me in these situations? I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna open it up in a different thing. I will not be trumped.
I got a feeling. Yeah. I got a feeling I know which one it is. I had blonde hair, right? And I'm attempting to play one of your songs.
Yeah, this is you. Yeah. This is you prepping for... Here, I got to share it with you. Windows Meet. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
It loaded
I
up
hope
like
I can
4
see
of
this.
them. Okay, you should see you. Do you see you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. That fucking snare.
Wow.
I remember when you send this to us and you're like, hey guys, I know some parts are rough, but you know, this is what I got after like a day of sitting down to it. I'm just like, you hit the main beats and you got the pulse. No, we good, bro. You're doing good. Just having fun. At some point, you even throwing some fucking stick tricks here and there, just being like, I think it's like at the end at some point.
Totally. That song was so fun because it was kind of challenging to me. Like, it's an interesting one.
It's got that old gent like vibe to it with a lot of. I don't realize it until people say it, but apparently the new metal influence really shang through on that one, Inject. And you know, I'm kind of sitting there being like, yay, bring back the new metal. But like just fucking going hard. Dude. Oh, right there, right. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh man, it was. You're so good. Like for the fact that, like even if you're not hitting things like perfectly on that go, like the fact that you had the main pulses in a lot of areas figured out, and you were just like still sitting there, be like, yeah. So I know it's not even like 100%, like close to 100%, but here's where I'm at. I hope I'm ready for when we get together, and I'm just sitting there, be like, oh great, it's another one of these ones where he doubts himself, but I guarantee you next week we'll get another video and he's only missed one fill, but that one fill is gonna be like, bros, I'm sorry, I'm figuring it out. I don't hate me for not having that one fill. And I'm just like, you don't even have to hit the fill that way.
The cheeks are hurting. I'm laughing so hard, smiling too. But yeah, dude, totally. I remember that. And even back then I had more doubts in my head than I do. Like, I'm so much more confident about my drumming now than I was back then. But yeah, it's funny to see because I knew I was playing like for the most part good. It's just like I think at that point I hadn't met you in person, no. And for whatever reason, I printed you out as this like not egotistical, but in my head I don't know how to put it, like kind of like
I'm a strict motherfucker. Like you better hit my level, motherfucker. I exist on a higher plane, motherfucker. Big fish, small pond, motherfucker.
And now that I know you, right after you said that too, right after I know you, and you're not this person that I painted in my head at the time, yeah, it's just funny, like, wow, I can't believe I actually thought that. But
I come off as this angry guy, but I'm really just a really klutzy Garth with a beard.
Yeah, man.
Hey, can I want some water? Okay, cool. Can I play the drum kit? No, I'm not that good. I just want to play.
Yeah, straight up, man.
That's
good
funny.
Times.
It's funny how that's, and you know what, that's probably self-perpetuated, I will admit. Young Nate, early 20s, huge chip on shoulder. Small town metal scene. Me and I did not get along, so I had the whole like, I'm a be successful despite all of you. Yes, I'll cast my spells and I will succeed no matter what traps you lay behind me. And then eventually people were like, man, are you trying to be snooty? No, this is my defense mechanism. It is now stuck. Shit. And it took me forever to like just recognize that I'm not that. And the reason people think I'm that is because in moments where I feel like I have to like project a certain like thing growing up and being young and having that chip, it puts some things off in the wrong way, especially with how I come off online, especially like years back. Because I used to be the one that'd be like, I got nothing better to do for the next hour. Who's pissing me off today? Let's now you guys want to debate? I went to college, bitch. You didn't. Let's do this.
Oh, did you really used to be that kind of guy? Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I say I had a chip on my shoulder, like I was an activist in like a left-wing activist in a very right-wing community. on top of a metalcore musician in a death metal community. There was no winning. So I, instead of like finding a way to adapt, I just went, all right, beat them at our own game. Let's fucking go. And, you know, there are better ways to go about that, guys. You don't have to be a jackass and play that jackass game to get ahead of jackasses. Usually if you just shut the fuck up, show up, do your job, be like happy about what you're doing and enjoy what you do, usually it'll actually go a fuck ton better. But like treating everyone as competition or having a sense of needing to one up someone, that was definitely a thing I had to get over in my early 20s, was the need to one up local musicians because they thought they were better than me. And so I was like, oh, you want to compete, eh? I can compete. Let's fucking go. And it was understanding there's that unhealthy competitive edge. You can compete with yourself in music. That is healthy. That is okay. Be better than you were the previous day. But when you start trying to pick someone out from your peer group and be like, all right, let's do it. You are going to stagnate so fucking quick.
Yeah.
So
no, for real.
Yeah. So
you're self-aware, though. You're self-aware. You were able to pick up on that.
It took a lot of time. It took a lot of growth. It took a lot of me not listening to people and being like, well, actually, maybe if you guys figured some shit out, I wouldn't have to act this way. How about that? Ever think of that? And just realizing, really, that still isn't justification to be a jackass. It really isn't. Like, there are other ways to go about this. The whole, you get more flies with honey than with vinegar. It's true. You also don't have to always give out honey, though. Sometimes Splenda works. It's less effort, but you're still trying to do the right thing. Like, or be a good person. Like, you don't have to shit on someone and be like, that'll attract the flies. Like, fuck, even a small compliment will, like, go further, or a small tidbit of advice. That's why, like, even on this show, when it gets to, like, songs I maybe won't vibe with, I will try my hardest not to rip into it. But then sometimes there'll be parts where I'm just like, guys, we need to have a talk. Now, let's imagine you're actually here with me right now, and you're understanding, I'm trying to be your bro, and we're just going to have a conversation about what the fuck I just heard. But
that's so hard to picture, man. That's crazy. I gotta be around when you're like doing like a stream on like a bunch of songs at once and just pay attention to your face and your body language.
Oh, it's
like,
after. It's the next 2-3 hours after we're done here. And it's funny that if we get hit with stellar fucking quality at the start and then we get to like lower quality at the end, oh man, you can tell I'm just like, man, I wish I heard this 2 hours ago and not now, because by comparison, I am so sorry, guys, but that melody's cool. I try not, like, I won't rip into it. Like, I won't say, well, this vocalist is god awful. Like, I might suggest vocal lessons, but I even suggest vocal lessons to my homies who are good, because lessons are handy. We don't know everything. We are always learning. If we want to take the time to expand on our crafts, fuck yeah. It's the beauty of music, I think, is, or even athletics or anything that you want to put an effort into. Practice benefits both the experienced and the inexperienced. Yeah. In fact, arguably, it's how the inexperienced become the experienced. So it's a weird thing how once you put in the time, you at some point wake up one day and realize, oh shit, I can do the thing that I didn't even understand X amount of years ago. Like, looking back at this setup right now, man, 18-year-old Nate would have looked at this, been like, cool, I'm going to play Xbox. That looks fucking confusing as hell. Because I didn't even understand Audacity. That shit confused me.
Yeah, trust, man. And I see how far along you are with your computer stuff now. Like, and I say that, see, not even computer stuff, I say. Because I am not that tech savvy, man. I'm not that guy. I try to, like, there's a couple things that I'm like, oh, I know this pretty well. Or, you know, when it comes to, like, my merch stuff, people are asking me about, like, what I'm using and what web store and website I'm going through. And I'm like, wow, this is making me feel kind of tech savvy. But when it comes to like the super important stuff to me, like the audio stuff, I'm learning all the time, and it's not a bad thing, but I just feel like there's a few things that I should know by now, and I'm like, oh, I should have known that, but
it
whatever.
The shitty thing about audio is it legitimately takes the time training your ears and just doing things. If you're not always doing things, you don't learn to understand what's going on. That's why I am very grateful for like my first elder bandmate, because when I was 18, my first band that I started with my homie Cesar, our vocalist was fucking 30. He's the guy that lived in this house before I lived here and brought me in after. And we were in a band, when we were in that band together, in the townhouse I was in with the, we had Electric Kid and just a copy of Mixcraft 5, I think, and maybe Sonar Works, which is now, it used to be by Roland, now it's by BandLab, the Cakewalk app, or DAW.
Okay.
And we would start recording and just kind of going back and forth and figuring shit out. And I thought I was learning shit. No. Year and a half later, we're in another band together, and now we're recording whenever we fucking can. He's going down his audio nuts, like continuing his audio nut, I don't want to say phase, because I still think he enjoys it, but this was when he was going fucking hard at it and like really just doing it whenever he could. We recorded whenever we could, whatever space we were in. And then I adapted that because I came into the equipment, got really into it, got handed honestly, what really started it was we recorded our first band, my first band, or second band, not first band. So I consider it the first band because this is the first one that actually like played consecutive shows, like lasted more than one gig. Actually did shit about Illusion of Daylight when we were working on our shit EP. The guy that was recording it was going to mix it, had life happen, and could not do it anymore. So he just plopped a laptop with a cracked version of Cubase, a bunch of cracked plugins, and all of our shit and said, have fun. And that is when I took everything I learned from live sound and working with Kevin and everything and started this aspect of the journey. And then, ironically, I went through a relationship ending, ended up here, and my depressive hole was, I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to spend however many hours brushing up my dreadlocks for the next 2 weeks, as well as doing audio fucking training and going through courses. Why? Fuck it. I don't want to leave this house right now, but I want to get really good at this fucking thing. I got the time. I got the space. Let's do it. And then throughout the year, just kind of was given the rest of the space. I used to have a small corner over there with my shit, and all of Kevin's shit was here. And then about 3-4 months later, he was like, you know, you're going really hard on this right now. Like harder than I went when I was going on it. And he's 10 years my senior. You know, you want to, here, I'm just going to move my shit out of the basement. Studio space is yours. Go fucking hard. And I was like, score. Fucking score. And I was playing bass in a local band at the time too, so I was still scratching the live itch and recording us. And it's amazing how much I thought I knew when I didn't know a damn fucking thing. And you don't realize that until you move along and actually take the time to look back. Fuck. Okay, there's actually, I'll see if I have this because I'll share this with you because this was something I made up. And I was going to post it, but I didn't want to. But based off like the things we've talked about, I think this would be a really, oh God, it's going to be embarrassing for me, but I think you'll enjoy it. And maybe others will too. But I did a little thing where I grabbed a little bit of everything that I've ever worked on since 2013 up until 2020. And I did like a mixed progression of like the first thing that I have recorded that I can find. There's probably something even worse that exists before this, but now let's just like incrementally throughout the years, like fade in and out. So I'm going to pull that up because Wow. You did not have to start right off the hop there. I want to share it with AJ first. Calm the fuck down. Windows Media Player.
I'm stoked to hear this. Oh, man, this is sick. I can't wait.
So the first one you're going to hear is a track I wrote with Swan in our first band, IOD. It never made it past this demo stage, but this was the first time I recorded myself drumming, playing guitar. He, Swan did the bass. I think he might have done some guitar parts too, and then I, like, starting out in my vocals a few years into it. So you're going to hear, like, on top of my mixed progression, there's going to be times where you're going to hear other progression, I guess. And if the hair on my back goes up, it's not because any of this is good, people. It is because there's a level of embarrassment that comes with doing this. But also I acknowledge I was crap in the past. And this is how I just humble myself and be like, yeah, you used to think you knew shit back then, too. Bet you think you know shit now, too. What's going to happen in 10 years when you do this again, eh?
Straight up.
All right, here we go. 9-year mixing progression. I got to show you.
Hella looking forward to this.
Oh, that's right. I found some other shit I worked on in there. I forgot about that. Caliber! No light around. See me from.
Is it coming through right now, though?
Are you hearing it? Is it up?
No, I'm not hearing any.
Okay, let's try that again then. Let's fuck. You know what? Everyone, you got a nice little tease of what AJ's supposed to hear. Here, let me know if you hear it now. We'll start it over. You got it that time?
Nope, got nothing.
Mother. I'm going to, you know what, Discord, I'm going to have a talk with your mother.
Yeah, what are you going to say to Discord's mother, hey?
You get your shit together. Let's see if this one works. Anything there?
Nope.
I swear to God. You know what? We close it. You know what? That's what we'll try this again. Everyone on the stream is just sitting there being like, Nate, I thought you said you knew shit, and I'm going to go back to what I reiterated before this. Yes, and in 10 years, I'm going to look back on this and be like, ha! Ha! All you have to do is this, motherfucker! That's all you need to do!
Yeah.
That is legitimately how it goes. You know what? I'm gonna put it on this screen. And now, because it's gonna.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for the little side screen to show up. Because when you did the drum video there, it showed up as a side screen.
Try that one. You should have like a visualizer.
Nothing yet.
I'm gonna turn it down, and then play it in the background. And I'm gonna keep shifting. I'm gonna find it. Everyone else is gonna be really bored of this. Not you.
They're gonna be like, what's going on? Yeah, they're gonna be like, we can hear it. Who cares if AJ can hear it?
Right?
I'm like, I get it. No, it's fine. I'll just watch it over again.
Nothing on that one.
No.
Oh my goodness gracious! Why does it? It worked for the last one, so this is where I'm just. Wait. I'm gonna try something else here. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna put it in here. Boom.
Oh. Okay. So it's gonna play on.
We'll hit play together. We'll hit play at the same time.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. Yeah.
Get them all to me, they go right. So come and motivate you with less than Fortnite. I'm living for life now, let me begin. They see the lose as a gamble, I got to pick the win. Testing every weapon, so like,
Oh, that's right. I did an instrumental cover of Gasoline by Howse for a friend. I keep forgetting about that.
you know I'm making hell rock. You know, open up your mind, things you never even thought. Come and see inside the mind of a maniac. You're only so far, and now you're never coming back. I can't see it being this.
There we go. We found our workaround so that AJ could actually check it out, guys. Thank you for dealing
That
with
was
that.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Man, you've done so many different genres. I had no idea. Seriously, the acoustic stuff? No idea about that.
Yeah, I've literally I will work. Well, I prefer to work in heavy stuff, but unfortunately, everyone in the heavy stuff either has someone, or is too broke, or is too far away, or a combination of the three. So locally, I just went, fuck it. If you gonna pay, let's see how this works out. And with that, I've had some interesting artists come through, like Mackenzie, who is the female acoustic artist. She originally did like a 2-track acoustic. What's funny is I recorded that here before I lived here. Because, like, again, Kevin had the studio set up before, so once in a while I'd message him and be like, hey, man, can I come do something? And I set up a thing for her one Christmas season to come down, and she recorded like a 2-track EP for her boyfriend at the time. So that was pretty cool. I think the other one was a cover of a pop punk band song. God, I can't remember the band name off the top of my head, but around 2014, they were pretty big in the Alberta area for like pop punk. And now the name's escaping me. I literally just remembered this as going through that. And then Aaron, who was the more grungy acoustic voice, he's a local dude here who's really well known. He used to do the open jams at the Royal all the time. He has a band called the Straight Jackets. They play fucking everywhere here. They are that bar band where someone needs some good entertainment. They need butts and seats. If you're trying to attract that older crowd, you book them, you're set. Then again, some of the rap as well, which I like good rappers. And that's nothing against any of the rappers I've worked with. I think I've worked with some decent rappers too, but I definitely I vibe more with the ones that come in and know what the fuck they're doing versus the ones that are looking for guidance, because I feel like I'm out of my element. As a vocalist, and with some hip hop backgrounds from growing up on Eminem and shit like that, I can be I can give you ideas, but I'm not paying attention to the genre now. I'm not a beat producer. Like, I can help you give ideas back and forth, but a majority of the rappers I work with come in with something pre-produced already. Most of the time, I also have to be like, hey, man, so you own this, right? You didn't just like, this isn't just like the rip off something. Okay, cool. Just got to make sure. Got to know if I actually want to embed my name on this or not.
No, that was sick, man. I liked some of that hip hop. I liked some of that acoustic stuff going on, and there was some like chugs in there, man, that I fuck with, man. That was sick. That was really cool. It's nice to see that you were able to create a timeline of when you first started to where you're at now. Like, you can definitely tell the progression.
Yeah, and
it's nice.
I think it's something that's handy, not just for myself, but I think a lot of people would benefit from doing something like that, like not compiling a track of like old stuff, but I like going back and watching old performances, old shows, old bands I was a part of. If the footage is there, not just for nostalgia, but to like, as I grow older, to look back and really like kind of assess myself at that time and really assess the growth that has happened, because it's amazing what you can take back, whether you're a photographer and you go back to your first few weeks of photography versus what you're doing now and all the in between. Maybe you had a phase where you were like really into black and whites. Like, you were really into that like black and white phase, and you can tell, but that might have also done something for you after that, and you don't notice it until you actually like really assess yourself and be like, oh yeah, no, that's when I was going through this and figuring that shit out, and then oh, that's how I got to that mark. That makes sense, because after a certain amount of time, we just start doing things off intuition, and we don't realize or look back to, I guess, respect again the journey that we're on and the journey that we've already, like parts of that journey that we've already taken, especially good or bad. There's a lot of like, there's bands in there like that I'm not a part of anymore. Some I left on good terms, some I left on bad terms. Some of them I'm still fucking cool with today. Others I don't talk to anymore. I mean, it's one of those things where even through the music, like there are things you can look back on and reflect on where you were, where you've gone from there, and everything you've gone through. Because I feel we don't acknowledge that aspect enough. We get really lost in what's happening right now. And I don't know, between you and me and everyone in the chat, there's too fucking much happening right now.
There's a lot.
There is.
Oh, I'll never like take that away from like the experience that I've had. You know, the ups and downs of that live set that we had with the technical issues, and that I honestly was so thrilled to share the stage with you, Ray, and Swan. That was super fun for me, and I, to this day, like, thank you for having me and allowing me to play with you guys. That's fun.
Thank you for being a part of it. We've talked with a lot of Howse, had a lot. I got to say thank you to Jeff for bringing us on. When a new lineup is figured, no, we are going to come back and we are going to take all those lessons we learned from that weekend, technical and all, and just kick fucking ass. It's what we do. We adapt, we learn, and we go, now the stage is ours. But that might take its time. But also, everyone, if you haven't already and you're in the Western Alberta area, or you intend to be August long weekend, get your fucking loud as hell tickets. Do it now. There is a killer fucking lineup going on. I Have Horses headlining a pub kickoff show on the Thursday. Like,
nice.
Yeah. There's some cool shit happening. With that, AJ, I've had you here for quite a while, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But before I let you go, going back on the whole wanting to shout out people in the community, I forgot to do this 2 weeks ago with our last crusade, but they made sure to do it anyway, which was good. Is there anyone in your local community you want to give a shout out that you feel doesn't get the props on a regular basis that, you know, you just want to make sure they get props now? Whether it's, this category is for anyone, venue owners, promoters, engineers, photographers, fucking street team people. Just, I like making sure that, you know, someone from each person's respective scene that's on the show gets a little love from their area and their community, because also these are people that allow us to do what we do. It's kind of
totally. Oh, I appreciate that. I didn't want to cut you off there, but there's a few on the top of my head. Do you mind if I drop
Go hard.
some names?
Go hard.
For bands, like I seen a local band here that I was like just blown away. They hit that emo part of my heart, and I was thoroughly impressed. A band called Monk. I think people should check them out, give them some digs, and yeah, because I was blown away. I was like, these guys, they kind of remind me of Silverstein a bit. They had that like emo kind of Sense of Fail kind of vibe, you know. It was cool. It was cool. And Calvin Fair from Rendezvous Pub. That guy has had our back since frickin' day one, and I'm always thanking him every time we play a show there, and when I talk to him and he talks to me and he's asking how things are going, like he's always just been so respectful and so kind, and like I said, it's been like another home for us in Edmonton, and I can't thank that guy enough. So Calvin, Rendezvous.
Mad props to Calvin. I've had the pleasure of playing the Rendezvous. It was around this time last year actually with Hyloxilus, so I don't think I had a huge chance to talk to him, but yeah, that venue is a fucking beauty, especially once you get inside from where it is. You're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn,
oh,
okay.
So good. So good. All the peeps at Higher Ground, giving back to the community and the less fortunate. Everyone that's part of that group that I've had the pleasure to meet in person and online and whatever the case might be, have been just amazing souls, very down to listen to my story, very down to listen to other things that I've brought up as topics, and not to, interject in rude ways. Like, they've just been open-minded to things, and I've loved hearing their stories as well, and partaking in some of the things that they do for the community. So yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Higher Ground. That organization is really doing a good thing for people. So yeah, hell yeah. And there's so many names. Like, when it comes to friends and family, like mom, dad, grandma, sister, brother, everyone in my family, my aunties and uncles, like, you know who you are.
Yeah.
And if you're watching, I appreciate you, and I love you unconditionally. And that goes with a lot of my friends, my best friends, the people I work with and I'm close with, the people in the scene that see me at shows and come and say hi and give me a little bit of the time of their day. It goes back to what I was saying with just listening, even if it's 2 or 3 minutes, like, I appreciate that. That really sticks with me. So thank you to each and every one of you that has done that for me or my bandmates. When I hear from my bandmates that people are going up to them at shows and talking to them and giving them the time of day, that really warms my heart too, because they're family. So if you're giving them the time of day, you're giving me the time of day by doing such. So I appreciate you. I love you. And thanks for tuning in. My laptop battery literally just came up. Your Mac will sleep soon unless plugged into a power outlet. And I'm at my jam space. So, but I know you were gonna cut it off here soon.
Perfect timing.
Nathaniel, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for having me on, giving me the time of day, and just listening to my story. Like, you've always been such an open ear. You've always been such a really good guy. And you've been one of those guys kind of like myself. But I had to learn it from somebody and take tidbits, like I said. And how you give back to your community and your scene and everybody else in between of that. It's really something, man. And I hope you're proud of it, because it's admirable. I admire that about you. So
I appreciate all the kind words. I fucking love watching our scene grow and seeing the community grow. And like I tell Keith and Matt and everyone involved with it, it happens not just because we put on good fucking shows with good bands, but it's because the people that are involved in the community that we're instilling is one that people want to be a part of, because we're about doing things for each other. Like, we want to provide opportunities. We want to show that this fucking scene not only exists, but it is going fucking strong. There are bands that are killing it in so many different ways and styles, and there's so much young blood coming out now. Like, nothing excites me more at this age doing what I do than working a show that I'm performing at and seeing young blood in the crowd, like the fresh meat, so we like to say. But that's what I felt was missing for the longest time, and I felt it wasn't there because our community wasn't showing that we were welcome to it. And now maybe it took the pandemic. Maybe it took a bunch of lessons before that. Maybe it's a combination of everything and everyone involved, but everyone who's doing this fucking loves doing this and wants to do it to see others succeed, not just themselves, which I think is also at the core of everything and why things are doing well. And I love watching just things grow. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone in the chat. I appreciate all the boys in With Conviction, all the homies. All I have to say is two things. One, be sure to go check out An Hour in the House. And number two, we're probably going to need like 2 hours when I come down. 1 hour is not going to be enough, my friend. We'll just scratch the surface. Yeah, there we go.
Or we'll see if I can if I'm able to upload up to 2 hours on the podcast thing that I have, like Anchor or whatever. But yeah, I'm sure we'll make something work. You know, I'm down for either or. We shoot 2 hours or we have two sets. I'm down. That's interesting. You brought that up.
Hey man. I know one day I want to be on that. It's going to be interesting being on the reverse side of this as you are right now. And also I'm stoked that you're doing it. Maybe, who knows what'll come from that conversation. I'm always excited because things, you never have the same conversation more than once. It's always different depending on the day. Like you said, everyone's at a different phase or a different time. Where I'm at now and where you're at now, might be for me, it'll be completely fucking different. Come whenever that happens. I ain't going to be in this place anymore, like after that. So, but it's going to be fun. I fucking love you, man. Which With Conviction song do you want me to put on? Because after I have you go, I'm going to put on some With Conviction, then the Champions and Supporters while I make coffee, go to the washroom, and then we're going to check out tunes. But again, we start this all off with the song that you pick. So which one's it going to be, AJ?
Ooh, With Conviction, hey? I listened to it today at work. It came on my shuffle, and I was blown away. I was like, this song really came out super strong, super proud of it, super passionate about it, and the message, it hits for me personally, and maybe it'll hit for somebody else that's going to finally hear it maybe for the first time or have heard it before and pay maybe a little more attention to it this time around, but Less Than Human, man. Let's go.
Hell yeah, I'll put that on. And everyone, let's send our good friend AJ out with a bang. Much love, my friend. Time to play the game.
Thanks for having me.
Much love. You take care. Have a great rest of your night, my friend.